Good morning, everyone. This is Dan O'Sullivan with your Bucks Island Area Fishing Report for Saturday, September the 10th, presented by Mercury. Things are starting to move here in Alabama. We're going to check up with Lee Pitts about Weiss Lake and Neely Henry. Of course, we're going to talk to Tom Ott about Guntersville, and then we're going to connect with our good friend Josh Herron, talk about Logan Martin and Lay Lake. We'll be right back with what the guys have to say. Good morning, everyone. This is Dan O'Sullivan with your Bucks Island Area Fishing Report for Saturday, September the 10th, presented by Mercury. Time for us to connect with Tom Ott and talk some Guntersville fishing. What's everything going on down there at Guntersville?
Well, Dano, it's definitely full swing fall right now. I mean, one day's feast and the next day is a little famine-y. The fishing is just, it's really great one day, and then the next day it's like, I forgot how to do this kind of thing. And a lot of that just seems to be bait movement. The current's been up and down. There's been a lot of floating grass. I guess good fisherman excuses if you want to throw those out there, but it's just been kind of tough. You got to cover a lot of water. Really just move around a lot. I think the last few times we've been out, didn't do a whole lot, and then at one part of the day just ran across a mess of them and was able to put some fish in the boat. But a lot of it's all oriented around bait. These fish are really starting to make that push. These days are starting to get a little bit shorter, and the fish know that, and they're starting to make that push back into those creeks, or at least into the mouths and towards the middle half of those creeks. But as these water temperatures cool, that's just going to get better and better. The flipping bite's really starting to pick up quite a bit as well. So, anywhere that you see some matted vegetation, a lot of bait fish around, I would definitely start that, start on flipping. The frog bite's just around the corner. We get a little bit of more cooler air, always like, the 1st of October, mid-October, before the frog bite really gets strong. But, they're still out there. I'm not going to say you can't catch them, but, it's just a little tough. Little spinner baits, anything that torpedoes, small spooks, anything like that. When you see those fish busting on top water, make a cast. You might be surprised at what you can pull out.
I've seen a few pictures for some friends that are bragging about frog fishing up there, sending me pictures of mouths that big with a frog choked down in the middle of it. So I know that's turning on. What about crappie or any other species? Is anything else starting to pick up yet?
Yeah, the crappie bite is really starting to come on. Those fish are moving a little bit shallower. Again, they're following the bait too, but you're not having to see these. You're not having to follow these fish out in the bends of the creeks and that kind of deal. They're starting to move up on the ledges, starting to move back into the creeks. That crappie bite's just going to get stronger and stronger, especially the closer we get to December. So, it's a great time to be out there. It's nice, cool temperatures. 60 degrees in the morning, 70, 80 in the afternoon. Couldn't be better. Just take a raincoat.
Folks, get yourself a sweatshirt in the morning and be ready to take off some layers as the day goes on. Sounds good, Tom. Thanks for checking in with us.
Hey, anytime, Dano. Y'all be safe out there and tight lines.
Well, good morning, everyone. This is Dan O'Sullivan with your Bucks Island Area Fishing Report for Saturday, September the 10th, presented by Mercury. Time to connect with our good friend Josh Herron, our Bass Cat Mercury Pro and manager of Reaction Innovations. What's going on at Logan Martin and Lay Lake?
Man, we still really haven't turned the corner on fall yet. I know a lot of parts of the country have, and man, for whatever reason, the Coosa's still riding the suck bus, but it's coming around slowly but surely. So we need some more big weather patterns to come in and kind of really get these fish turned in the right direction. But fish are still kind of starting to key up on bait. Same old thing about you can run around and throw a spook and a vixen and a torpedo or a buzzbait in the mornings. You get a few bites here or there, but these fish really haven't made what I'd call a really strong push in the creeks yet. They're still kind of hanging around that river, right around the mouth part. So it's coming slowly but surely. It just needs to get here a little bit faster. But luckily, man, our boat traffic's gonna start slowing down a little bit, so it's gonna make things a little bit more pleasant. And man, I'm looking forward to a great fall.
So we're seeing temperatures dropping into the 80s a little bit, and we're hearing water temperatures are kind of falling just a little bit, but it hasn't made a difference at those two lakes.
Not particularly, not a huge difference. Man, we really need some big like these fall cold rains. That's really what turns it. We've still got a lot of daylight, and the nights affect it more than the days. It always does. So when you start getting those nights in the low 50s, it'll really that's when you'll see the water temperature make a drastic turn. So that's kind of what we're looking for. Right now, we're still in the low 60s at night, mid 60s. So once we get into that 54, 55 range at night, you'll really start seeing a drastic turn because we'll have a lot less daylight.
After the topwater bite is over, what kind of techniques would you expect people to be able to do, or would you recommend?
You can still do the shaky head thing at Logan. You can start playing with a little bit more like smaller swim baits. These fish are really going to start keying up on smaller bait. This year's shad hatch. So little swim baits, underspins. As the water temperature cools a little bit, you're going to be able to start getting more into that spin and jerk bait. But these things I'm talking about, you don't necessarily have to fish them slow. You get these great big pods of bait, and a lot of them, you got to cover some ground. You really got to chase fish right now. It's not something you can sit on. Lay, hopefully we're going to look for a really good grass year. As long as we can convince Alabama Power to quit spraying all of it, it's setting up for a decent year.
We appreciate everything, Josh, and we'll talk to you again next week. Well, good morning, everyone. This is Dan O'Sullivan with your Bucks Island Area Fishing Report for Saturday, September the 10th, presented by Mercury. Time for us to connect with Lee Pitts, crappie king of Weiss Lake, and fish Neely Henry Lake stud. What's going on at Weiss Lake these days?
It's September, and of those of you that know it was September, it's just that time of year, and the water's cooling down. I've been on Weiss some this week, and I found some 78, 79 degree water temp, so that's good. It's getting a little bit better, but the fish still really hadn't made a move yet. A lot of these fish are just kind of suspending out and staying under the bait that we've got. We've got tons of bait out there right now. And also, we've had the water on Weiss Lake. We've had the water pull down a little bit because of all the rain we've got, so that's kind of taking a lot of these fish out of the grass. Caught fish on a crankbait this week, small spinner bait, had a little bit of a topwater bite, not much, but this week I think a lot of the smaller fish are coming in, little DT6, even through a trap some, but everything we were catching was some of your smaller fish, pound and a half, pound fish, just they're up there chasing that bait and running around. But still, you can get out and have a good time and catch some. It's just you're going to have to work for them. It's the time of year that these fish really are in between. They're not out there on the deeper stuff. They really hadn't tried to jump up tight on that bank yet. And you just got to kind of cover water and just try to chase them down. And when you hit a little spot of them, beat on them and roll on.
What about the crappie bite? Are they moving some?
They're starting to. We had a whole lot of water movement, with this week with all the weather systems we've had in. Couldn't really set out on the ledges like I wanted to because these fish, the cooler that water gets, the less amount of daylight hours it gets, they really start trying to wad up on all that. Creek channels, main river channel, getting on those deeper, whatever structure they can get, whether it be a stump, man-made structure, a good turn in the creek or something. They're starting to try to move there, but this week we've had so much water movement, pulling 2-3 turbines, you just couldn't keep a bait down there. Starting to get around some of the deeper piers. These crappie are getting under in some of the major creeks, they can get under these piers. So that's a good sign too. I think we're about 2 weeks away. If things keep going like it is, the weather's cooling down, I think we're all going to be singing a little different tune here in a couple of weeks.
Well, I've been hearing some of the same out of Neely Henry. The water temperature's fallen just a little bit into the low 80s. Bass bite's starting to pick up, some crankbaits around some stuff. A little bit of dock skipping. We'll put some fish in the boat for you as well. And, of course, don't miss that top water. And then docks and deep water ledges for those crappie. Lee, man, as always, we appreciate everything, and we'll talk to you again next week.
All right. Hope to have better news next week.
Well, that'll do it for our Bucks Island Area Fishing Report for Saturday, September the 10th, presented by Mercury. Thanks to the guys for everything that they do every week to help us put a few more fish in the boat and keep us updated on what's going on our local lakes. Don't forget, anytime you need a little something for your boating or fishing pleasures, come see us at Bucks Island. We're there to help because you are the best part of Bucks Island. And thank you for being with us, and we'll talk to you again next week.